see what happens here. Hi, everybody. We're preparing for our live stream for our POTUS report. We have a lot to talk about this week. I look forward to meeting up with everybody tonight. It's our date night, Friday night date night on the GoldFish report. So let's see. Here we go. Hi, everybody. So happy to see everybody tonight. Welcome. Welcome to the GoldFish report. I'm your host, Louisa. Today is Friday, February 21st, 2020, and it's GoldFish report number 445, and it's week 161 POTUS report. I just wanted to say hello to everybody. Hope you're having a good Friday. Hope it's been a good week. We're going to, of course, do our POTUS report this week, and the title of this report is, United we stand, divided we fall. Q has really had such a huge impact on not just the country, and patriots, but across the world. And a lot of countries, as you know, have hoped that, well, quite honestly, when we succeed, it'll trickle out to the rest of the world. So that's pretty much how it works. So I'm going to move along very quickly so that I can get to doing this POTUS report. Hi, Marissa. How are you from Indiana? Nice to see you. Thanks for joining me. I'm just going to put a little message here. Welcome. Welcome, everyone. So I hope you're enjoying your Friday. And I'm going to start talking about the previous week. As you know, POTUS report always reports on the president's previous week of activity. This is week 161 POTUS report. So that's his previous week, or this past week, 161. It's a lot of weeks, folks. A lot to report on. So I'm going to screen share. Hi, King Hacienda. Nice to see you. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to screen share now for our viewers the GoldFish Report blog, which has all of our posts on it. Hold on one second. I have to it's just how this software works. I just have to redo something here. Here we go. Okay, so yeah, one second. I have to make one more. Just trying to get set up here, folks. There we go. Sorry about that. Okay, so here we have it. We have Saturday, February 15th, because I think, right, last Friday was Valentine's Day. I hope everybody had a great Valentine's Day and a very great Valentine's weekend. So I had a really good day and a good weekend myself. So I hope you all did too. So Saturday, February 15th, the president posted a presidential message on Susan B. Anthony Day 2020, and he was celebrating a fearless patriot who fought tirelessly so that all Americans could enjoy the many blessings of liberty, regardless of their sex or race. Susan B. Anthony passionately pursued the right of women to vote and participate in the democratic process. The groundwork she laid paved the way for the ratification of the 19th Amendment, frequently referred to excuse me, as the Anthony Amendment in 1920. Excuse me, one second. When I talk a lot, I have to cough. Okay, today, as we celebrate her 200th birthday, we also celebrate a century since the adoption of this historic amendment and the remarkable contributions of women to the strength and success of the United States. Our country has never been stronger, and from coast to coast, women share the same conviction as Susan B. Anthony. Are helping take our nation to new heights. We pause to recognize her courageous work as an advocate for the sanctity of all life. Susan B. Anthony understood that every American has boundless potential and that we must work to protect the rights of all people, especially the most vulnerable among us. She will forever be remembered for her fearless work against the scourge of slavery and for her advocacy in favor of civil liberties. Today, we continue to draw inspiration from her as we work toward a culture that fiercely safeguards the rights of all Americans while also fostering mutual respect and understanding through our society. Sorry, I had to take a sip of water. This is really a big deal, and I want us to stop sharing for 1 second because really this sums up, the values of of President Trump's administration. is valuing the sanctity of life, and of course through the work Ivanka Trump's been doing through her women's initiatives to also hi Sherry, hi Phoenix. Nice to see you all. Thanks for joining me. I'm sorry to interrupt, but we have a live chat going, so I will occasionally I will occasionally stop and say hello to everybody who's in here. I want you to know that I saw you. Let me just go back to this because, like I was saying, this really epitomizes the Trump presidency. Is this kind of courageous patriotism from people who are willing to make sacrifices? I mean, true sacrifices in order to advance the cause and rights for all people. So it's really wonderful to see them, paying homage to Susan B. Anthony. So I'm going to go back to the blog, and we're going to continue with the work the president's done all week, which is a lot. Oh, it's always a lot, folks. It's always a lot. We have White House photos of the week. Well, this was last week's photos, and I didn't get them until the weekend, so I wasn't able to share them with you, but I will share them now. This was a beautiful picture of the president and first lady. Just amazing. I'm so proud of them. I'm proud to have them as our president and first lady. Such a glorious couple, so graceful. Quite, honestly, this was the East Room of the White House during the governor's ball. Beautiful, beautiful. And this is, something that definitely, it's been his lifestyle his whole life. So they're very gracious about it. Here's the vice president and second lady, Karen Pence. And there's more photos. There they are, all four of them in the blue room of the White House. Yeah, that's where the Christmas tree was. So that's the blue room right there. Here you have the president with the White House social aides in the blue room of the White House. So this is a beautiful picture here. So the president's always nice about including the folks who work at the White House in photos. And he had also recent photos of some other staff who were there decorating. The people who were just decorating the White House for the holidays, they all did a group photo out in the out front of the White House. I think it was on the South Lawn. And it was very nice of him to include them all. Here we have the president and first lady pose for a portrait with Texas Governor Greg Abbott and his wife, Cecilia Abbott, in the blue room. Of course, this was all part of that occasion that evening. And we have some more pictures here with the Hawaiian governor and his wife. You can go to the blog and take another look at this. Here they are walking. How graceful and glorious. What an incredible couple. Really a truly incredible couple. A very powerful president and first lady who is often quite a troll herself, and she doesn't get the credit. She's amazingly glamorous and glorious, and more taste and grace since Jackie O, and nobody gives her any credit for it, but we do. We love our FLOTUS. So to continue, and our POTUS, of course, go to the goldfishreport.blogspot.com and check out the blog. You can look at more of the photos. They're beautiful photos here. And let's, sorry that I have to scroll, but that's how it is on a blog. We have here the president receives applause after he arrives to deliver remarks at the White House business session with our nation's governors in the state dining room. And so that was a photo of that event there. And here's during the discussion, remarks he was making during that event. And here's the first lady with the governor's spouses. So this was a luncheon, and she was also delivering remarks to the spouses there. Beautiful. What a glorious, gracious host. And you can come to the blog, take a look, but these are beautiful pictures. And this is interesting. I mean, this is something Dan Scavino would do. He would take Dan's like, he's such a quiet one. And the president paid homage to him last night in the rally, saying he's the most powerful man in the White House, almost, or second powerful, right? And it's Dan Scavino, and he is the right-hand man to the president. He runs all the social media, which is really the way the president communicates with all of us. So it's a very important job, and Dan's done a fantastic job. And Dan takes these, impromptu photos, and he shares them, on his social media, and it's like this is this would be an example of one of them where Dan will take this unexpected perspective, and I gave him that nickname. I'm his biggest fan on Facebook, of course, but he one of many. He's got a few of them, but he would just take an unexpected perspective, and he'd take a black and white photo and make a really great photo, and just really have a great perspective, something that you don't normally get to see unless you're right there with the president. These are pictures that only an insider would have a view to, and Dan is so gracious about sharing them with us all, and I do appreciate him doing that. So here we have some Office of Management and Budget. Well, that's something you don't see very often, is somebody coming out from the Office of Management and Budget. This is the acting director, Russ T. Voigt, and it gives a press briefing on Monday. So got to use that room. It's collecting dust because there hasn't been many press briefings there lately. Certainly when I was there, there wasn't any. When I was there, it was the infamous, I should say, press news conference in the large room there that they have. I think it was the Rose Room or something. I'm not sure, but that was that press conference that I live streamed for everybody from Jim. Where Jim Acosta lost his press pass. That was a kind of an ugly day. But anyway, let's keep moving along. We have the families of the victims of the Stoneman Douglas High School shooting. They're in the Oval Office with the president here. We have, quite a few other photos here to share. Vice President Pence and Ivanka Trump. Look at Ivanka. How often does she get to enjoy one of those? She's always so fit and trim. How funny. So here they are talking with people. The Roundabout Dinner in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. So there they are. You also have, of course, the president always does this. He's always very solemn when it comes, and respectful, and pays tribute to our soldiers, our fallen soldiers, when they are transferred and they arrive at Dover Air Force Base, when there's been a passing, of one of our soldiers, and the president is always there, always there. In the middle of the night, the president and first lady show up for these sadly returning caskets that have come home. Not that many, but there have been some, and they're always there. They're always grateful. Then this is more of the more photos of that event. So here's some more pictures. We have the president posing for a photo during the signing of the Supporting the Veterans in STEM Careers Act, and I reported on this last week. You can go to the blog and look up this. I don't want to talk too much about material I've already reported on, but here we have the president signing the STEM Careers Act in the Oval Office at the White House. So there's a picture of that, and here's another photo of that. This is about creating careers and opportunities for our veterans, and making sure that there's jobs for them. And here we have Vice President Mike Pence greeting students at the United States Capitol tour. They were having a tour there, and some other stuff too. So take a look out, go to the blog. I'm going to go through this quicker because there's a lot to report on. I mean, we'd be here like all night if I, didn't go through it quickly. So here's some more really great pictures. I'm not going to go through all the photos right now because I reported on these stories last week, not the photos though. Okay, so we're going to, let me just stop in, say hello to everybody. Hi, Veronica. That's great. I'm really glad to see you guys stop by. I didn't announce this, in advance, but usually Friday nights, the GoldFish Report does our POTUS reports, does our live stream POTUS report. And this is what we're doing right now. So let me move back let's go to the following day then. And I will screen share this as well for our viewers. Most viewers will see this, it'll be uploaded on YouTube and our BitChute page as well. Not everybody will see it live, but a lot of people will end up seeing this once it's been uploaded and published. Okay, this was a very interesting GoldFish report I did. This was a plea for freedom in China, and I do suggest everybody go here and take a look at these links on the blog, because this was about a woman who was living in who is living in communist China, frustrated at the social conditions, how the lack of free speech, the lack of resources for ordinary people, and her own passionate and heartfelt words made a plea to humanity to stand up for your right to be free from oppression. And we have to remember, folks, that you know in some ways, because Jim Fetzer's lawsuit is a First Amendment lawsuit. My lawsuit is a First Amendment lawsuit. You can't, be um, persecuted for what our Constitution permits us to do. And if it's not real, then we have a big problem. So, either we have the socialism, either we have, a communist. There's no difference. What's the difference if she's being persecuted and we're being persecuted for our First Amendment speech? What's the real difference there? But at least here we have the perception of it, and we're supposed to have a constitution that the judges are supposed to uphold. But folks, unless you have very, very, very deep pockets, because it's justice is for sale in this country, or at least it has been. You can just consider it a waste of time to try to prevail on that. And not to say that they won't throw a few to people here and there, because they want you to feel like you have rights, like you have freedom of speech. So they have to throw a few cases, but the majority cases, there's no way normal, average people can possibly win these cases, unless you go to the media and get media attention on them, things of that nature. So let's move along to Monday now, and we'll talk about what the president and the first lady have been up to. So we have, this was really wonderful because, like I said before, the first lady is rarely ever given the credit that she's due. Here she was honored as a woman of distinction at Palm Beach Atlantic University. This was a really beautiful event. I think she was, very, very honored. This is because of her Be Best policy initiative and bringing awareness to the issues that impact children's lives, and highlights programs and treatments designed to overcome these issues. But she's also been a front runner with regard to, advocating for, opioid treatment, to end the opioid abuse, things of that nature as well. So she's, definitely got, really, she's done a lot of work. She's done a lot of good advocacy, and I think these are issues that she, I think, has seen it for herself. So I think, she has witnessed probably a lot of this. And she has come to meet people whose lives were affected by this. And so I think it has meant an awful lot to her. It's meant a great deal to her. Here is my report from Monday with the most dangerous mind in America, Jim Fetzer. So here we have GoldFish report number 444, Political Theater, America Going Awry. Trust the plan. It's like every time Jim and I do a report, it just seems like, there's so much contradiction in the news all the time. And it's crazy. It's crazy. There's crazy stuff going on. I mean, just today now, on Twitter, you see this fight going on. They actually on all the media, right? They're trying to accuse Russia of trying to influence the election this time. I mean, isn't this crying wolf? This is getting a little ridiculous at this point, right? It's crying wolf. I mean, bring Russia back into it. Why not? You've got nothing else to stand on. You Democrats have no platform. They have no plan for America to save jobs and to bring about better quality of life, health care, raise standards of living, and improve education, provide medical for people, like for veterans, jobs for veterans. They have no plan. Their only plan is to destroy this country. And you can see it by the kind of policies. You have Project Veritas making that expose, of the Bernie Sanders campaign, of the staffers saying on camera that they believe people need a re-education camp. So essentially, we're literally calling gulags a role model for what America should move into. I mean, can you believe people are actually thinking this? This is the craziest thing I've ever heard. So, we made this meme. I don't know if I can find it real quick. Let me stop sharing because I want to show you the meme, because it really sums it up pretty good, actually. think I have a folder called memes. I don't think I'm still sharing though. Let me see. Where's this folder? Because you got to, you got to see it. Here we go. Here we go. I'm going to screen share this. So this is basically what the Democrat. So since Bernie Sanders is the front runner now in the Democratic Party, I don't know about Buttigieg, but here you have "Make gulags great again." I mean, this is Bernie's campaign slogan. He's a socialist. He says he's a socialist. You can see how great socialism is working for Venezuela, right? So who wouldn't vote for this, right? Are you out of your mind? I mean, this is crazy. Make gulags great again. That's Bernie's campaign slogan for 2020. So, you know, that's all they have to offer, folks. I hope everybody realizes that. Sadly, people really do want to try to be loyal to their party, but would you walk into a slaughterhouse if they went in there? I mean, come on. At some point, you have to stop and use your common sense and realize it's not good. It's not a good idea. But they're counting on nobody thinking. They're counting on you being the sheep and they're being the shepherd, and they'll lead you right to the slaughterhouse. And sadly, the Democrats are going to follow behind them, and that's really unfortunate. But let's move along. I don't want to digress too far, but I think everybody really knows that's the truth. So that's it for that day. Okay, let me just check in with my live chat. Hi, everybody. Wind and rain. How are you doing? Thank you so much from Portland, Oregon. Oh my gosh, I wonder how the weather is there. Hudson Valley, New York. Oh, Marisande, hello. A cold night. It is. I'm not far from you in Hudson Valley, New York. Exactly. Dr. Arden, hello. Nice to see you. Thank you so much for coming by and joining me. It's nice that you all come by and say hello. That's so nice. Yeah, Veronica. Absolutely. So exactly. I mean, look, all the Democrats have is make gulags great again. And if that's really, if that's really what you're hoping for, if that's what you want to give your family, if that's what you want to leave, that's a legacy you want to leave to your children. Are you kidding me? Did all of our forefathers, did all of our Marines and veterans of all these wars to defend our country, was it all for naught? Did they waste? Was it in vain? Was it for nothing? Just so we can now give our country away and destroy it ourselves? Okay, I'm going to move on. I am not going to go there much longer because it's very easy to get triggered by it. It really is. Yeah, Putin, Marisande says Putin is a big Russian teddy bear because he should be pissed at the Clintons and leftists for constantly picking on him, and he takes it with a grain of salt. He really is a peaceful guy. It's funny how much he puts up with, and I have to tell you, if you go to our news page, on Facebook, I'm going to screen share it for you so you can find it, and I hope everybody goes there. If you go to our news page, you have to look in the photos section, and we have some of the funniest memes regarding Putin. I've posted a lot of memes. If you go to here, I'll screen share this real quick just so everybody can see it. And it's pretty much archived. So if you go to photos to our GoldFish news page, we have like 800 photos here of our time on our timeline, and you just go through all the memes and stuff. It's just crazy. It's ridiculous. Not all of them are memes, but a lot of them are. And I have to say I'm pretty happy that I've been able to keep some of the less the unsavory ones off of here, even though I thought they were funny. Some of them were funny. I mean, it's pretty funny. So here we have, yeah, a whole bunch of other memes. We have to go through here and take a look because there's an awful lot to go through. And of course, Ben Garrison does a really great job doing his political cartoons and stuff like that. So go check it out. Go check it out. Check it out. This goes back a long way. You just keep going back and you'll find it. A lot of memes like this one, James Comey. I'll tell you, if you need, to go get a laugh somewhere, this is one of the places to do it. Okay, so I'm going to move along, and we're going to talk about Tuesday, February 18th. I'm going to try to get through this quickly. Of course, my viewers know it's hard to do because the president does so much. There's a lot to talk about. So here we have sanctuaries for whom? Let me take a sip of water. I need another drink of water. I mean, another bottle of water. So at the State of the Union, we learned about Maria Fernandez. Her grandmother was murdered last month in Queens from someone who should never have been let out of prison. And it's very sad that this has to happen. It's unthinkable that the people in New York State are not, they don't care. They don't care. They don't care about their own safety. That this is going to sacrifice. It's going to put in jeopardy their own safety if they let these people out of prison. That look, this alleged repeat criminal offender, Riaz Khan, with Maria's murder. So police charged a legal immigrant and alleged repeat criminal offender Riaz Khan with Maria's murder. Khan from Guyana had been arrested previously for assault. New York City released him from jail despite a detainer request from U.S. immigration officials. Unbelievable. Border security is national security. This is what the president is talking about. So across the country, left-wing politicians use these so-called sanctuary policies to put dangerous and often violent criminals back on our streets. After all, sanctuary cities have nothing to do with protecting law-abiding immigrants. Their purpose is to stop the United States from deporting illegal aliens with criminal charges and convictions. Folks, I mean, let me tell you something. My ancestors from Italy, okay, at least on one side of my family, they went through Ellis Island. They immigrated here properly. They came in and assimilated. They acculturated the best they could, but they definitely assimilated. And you know what? That's part of the melting pot of America. No question about it. But to bring your crime here, to think that you're going to get away with it, what has happened in this country? You have to you're having an identity crisis. That's what it is. If you don't know what this country stands for and represents, then it's a true identity crisis. And all you need to do, the cure for that, is to follow President Trump. Go to one of the Trump rallies that you'll be like cured overnight. The love, the power, the incredible energy, the patriotism, the support, the unification of people, and the support of the president it's amazing. And you have to go there to experience it yourself. So that's the cure. That's the cure for Trump derangement syndrome. It's to look at the facts and the truth. Okay. If you want to live in this illusion world where, socialism, make gulags great again, there's plenty of other countries you can go to for socialism. But as the president has said, this will never be a socialist country. Let's keep moving along. So these sanctuary policies are not pro-American. In fact, not only are they dangerous, but I think that it's time that and I do believe that the Justice Department's going to be, see, this is it here. Not one more American life should be stolen by sanctuary cities. President Trump told her that's why we're calling on Congress to pass legislation giving American victims the right to sue sanctuary cities and hold them accountable for the suffering and the damages that they've caused. Sadly, there should be something to prevent this from happening. But the only way to get to the prevention is sadly by the crimes to happen and then, holding those people accountable legally. How they ever got away with these sanctuary policies is beyond me. But it's definitely a liberal agenda. That's actually not beyond me. Understanding that it's just a liberal agenda that did that. So, and that's why it's so important for the president to secure our borders. Of course, the president was at the Daytona 500 and he did a lap. How cool is this? Let's see if we can play this video and screen share this for our viewers.
It's a legendary display of roaring engines, soaring spirits of the American skill, speed, and power. But NASCAR fans never forget that no matter who wins the race, what matters most is God, family, and country. The cars will take to the track for the start, tires will screech, rubber will burn, fans will scream, and the great American race will begin. For 500 heart-pounding miles, these fierce competitors will chase the checkered flag. To all of the drivers, technicians, and pit crews here today, good luck, and may the best team win. Gentlemen, start your engines.
begins. The 62nd Daytona 500 is underway.
How awesome is that? That is so awesome. I mean, just being there is cool, and with the president there and everything, that is so cool. Did anybody go? Is anyone in the,
A little windy out here, so I'll button up my coat.
wait, I still have the president talking. Hold on a second.
Have a couple of more people want to jump.
Yeah, that was a press release that the president wants to people to see the reality. Exactly. Hi, Veronica. Yeah, I live in Sweden, but even I can see what's going on. Sweden, oh my gosh, what's going on in Sweden? I have friends in Sweden, and I have to tell you, they just, they're very frustrated with the all of that, let's see, refugees, the policies. I mean, the carte blanche that the refugees have been given at the expense of the citizens, the crime, this areas you can't even go in anymore. Same with Norway, the rapes, and you're still not allowed to carry a weapon. You can't have a gun or anything like that um, in Sweden, and I think it's even changed in Norway as well. Um, it's a plan to destroy the country, and thankfully, Veronica, tell me how the other Swedes see this. I mean, are Swedes actually getting this now? Do you see this as a bad agenda by the UN to really destroy these countries and keep them united and stuck under the umbrella of the European Union? When each, that puts more limitations on what each country can do to defend themselves under the European Union. When you're like Brexit, you have your own. You have your own sovereignty. I mean, you're not going to be stuck under the limitations of the European Union. I don't know. Yes, I see. Yeah, I'm glad you. Thanks for letting me know, because I've seen some really horrible things. Who was it? The secretary at The Hague. She was raped. Do you remember that, Veronica? Did you see that? The secretary, female. I don't remember her name. You might remember her name. She was raped. She was threatened about how she, I don't know, votes, or there was something political going on. They raped her severely, and she was so living in anguish over what had happened, living in the fear of those threats, living with the unthinkable, crime against her. She committed suicide. So, so it's reported. So Veronica, let me know if you remember her, if you remember hearing her story. Yeah. I hope more people do see. I mean, this is what the internet is really helpful for. This is what channels like the GoldFish Report are useful for. And there's many other channels now doing, talking about this as well. That it's spreading the word, spreading the information out there. So let's keep moving along. We have the Wednesday's report. These are the highlights, folks. It's not everything the president does, because not everything is on his public schedule. But this is from the press secretary's office. The big news, folks, this week. One of the big news. There's always big news with Donald Trump. Is that the Olympics returns to America, and we're going to have the Olympics in 2028, right? President Trump kicked off his West Coast trip yesterday by meeting with leaders from the Los Angeles 2028 Olympic Committee. From the day I took office, I've done everything in my power to make sure that LA achieved the winning bid, President Trump told local organizers. Now, for the third time in history, the city of Los Angeles, the city of angels, will once again rise up the Olympic torch and welcome the world's greatest competitors to the Summer Games. So I'm going to just say that, of course, I'm going to not really going out on a limb that much, but I do believe the president will be reelected in a landslide victory, of course. And I think his second term is going to have such wonderful things in it for our country. And it would have to, and he would have to know that in order to bring the Olympics to Los Angeles, because Los Angeles and San Francisco are not in good shape under the districts, the liberal Democrat districts leadership. And so you know that he already knows that something good's coming, and it will be prepared and it will be ready for Olympics in 2028, for the Summer Olympics. That's really wonderful. Here he says that the Olympic Games will boost much more than America's gold medal tally. It's expected to be a major economic lift across Southern California. They need it. They need it desperately. The Summer Games will add an extra 112,000 jobs and $18 billion in growth to an already thriving economy. That's wonderful news. We need that, especially if you love California. A lot of our viewers are in California. If you love California, you want it revitalized, you want better opportunities there. This is the president that just never stops. He never stops making deals and bringing about opportunities that are good for America, because he puts America first, and that's why. That's what he cares about. President is still out west. He was meeting with rural leaders in Bakersfield, California, to discuss the critical issue of water accessibility for our farmers. For years, Californians have seen major agriculture products stifled because of outdated regulations. President Trump, meanwhile, is fighting to eliminate the bureaucratic headaches that derail these kinds of infrastructure policies. Priorities. Today, building on his previous efforts, the president is signing a memorandum to simplify the approval process and deliver water supplies across California's Central Valley. The next stop is Phoenix, Arizona. The president stopped there for a pro-worker policies meeting. Strong job increases in Arizona has gone up 8.7% since last December. Blue collar boom. The manufacturing employment grew 12% in the same time period, adding 19,300 industrial jobs alone. Soaring wages, average hourly earnings have increased 4.4% in just 1 year, and an astonishing 8.3% for manufacturing workers. Majority of Americans say they're better off than 3 years ago. The only comment or caveat I would make at this point is more Americans would be better if the president would deal with and get the issue of the family court racket. It's a racket, and it's in every state of this country, because that destroys lives. It ruins children's lives. It ruins the bond between mothers and children. It ruins the natural relationship between mothers and their children, and also destroys people financially. And it's just spiteful and malicious, actually, because you have a system where you have greedy, rotten, dirty lawyers and judges. Not all of them. I'm just talking about the ones who are, just like the president says. There's dirty cops in the FBI. Not all of them are. But in the family court system, you have dirty, rotten judges and dirty, rotten lawyers who work together to churn cases. And we know this from news reports that I've reported on and has been reported on in other places of news. That's got to be, because that litigation straps you for so many years, and it's so destructive that it's obviously an agenda, because it's in all 50 states. It's really kind of a crapshoot how you're going to fare in divorce and in family or family court if you're not divorced but you have children with someone. It's really a crapshoot how you're going to do, because really anything goes. It's a matter of how much money you have. The more money you have, the more you get what you want. It doesn't mean you're right. You just, justice is for sale. And until we can clean up our judicial system, not just on the federal level, and the president's doing that. 150 new judges. Actually, I think he's up to 175 new judges, including international courts, including, well, we're going to be learning a lot more about this FISA court. They were compromised. This is all going to be coming out as well. But we're talking federal courts, judges who do not uphold the Constitution, and of course the state courts, which are they're in such shambles and dire. It's so political. There's nothing honorable about a lot of these people who work there. You can call it, judges. It's a joke. Let's like with half of our Congress. Honorable. They're taking bribes from Ukraine. Why do you have to call them honorable? There's nothing honorable about that. You just wait until all of this comes out and you see what was really happening in Ukraine. They're going to be brought in for treason. They're going to be convicted of treason. You'll see. There's lots of people reporting on this. It's all over the place. Here we will move along. First Lady wins this Woman of Distinction Award, which we mentioned earlier. A spokeswoman for the school told The Hill last month that this year marked the first time the committee tasked with selecting honorees chose a First Lady for the Woman of Distinction recognition since the university began in 1991. So that was very nice. As we mentioned it earlier, the photo of the day here is the president boarding Air Force One in Las Vegas. What a monster. Look at how big that airplane is. It's really something to see. I mean, even when I was reporting from the White House and, Marine One would come and land on the lawn. And I mean, that was still that Sikorsky, I think it's called a Sikorsky, that airplane. I'm sorry, that helicopter. It was still, it was the president. It was huge. It was a big deal. And you should show respect when you're at the White House, Jim Acosta. Hint, hint. Okay, let's keep moving along. West Wing reads public credits Trump more than Obama for booming economy. Oh, come on. You got to be kidding me. They're crediting Obama for the economy? Really? This is got to be fake news anyway. So, well, it's the Washington Examiner. Let's see. In the new fight between President Trump and former President Barack Obama over who did most for the country, Gallup has an answer. Trump. Good. Paul Bedard reports for the Washington Examiner. A solid majority of Americans, 61%, gave President Trump credit for the improving economy. A full 10% fewer said former President Obama deserves the credit. Yeah, public credits Trump more than Obama. Yeah, but they were the fake news media is trying to spin this the other way around. Just like they're trying to say that Putin now is behind, trying to get Trump elected, and it's kind of a joke. It's like, what's the next weekly joke? A hoax in DC. The hoax of the week. What's the hoax of the week going to be in DC, right? So we have America's long broken mental health system is turning businesses into business districts into homeless camps, forcing police to run shadow mental health systems, causing chaos for families of mentally ill adults and driving up costs. President Trump's new budget proposes closing a crucial loophole, the most important thing the federal government can do to improve care for the seriously mental ill, according to the Wall Street Journal. Of course, Donald Trump's fiscally conservative budgets. There's more to read on that. You can go to the blog and take a look at that. And let's see. Let's go to our next. Yeah, here's a transcript of the meeting that the president had with the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Committee organizers in LA. You can go here and take a look at this. Just know that these transcripts are very long, and I don't usually go. I will not read them all. We'd be here all night, so I'm not going to do that. But you can go to the blog and you can check that out yourself. Presidential message on the 75th anniversary of the Battle of Iwo Jima. Here we have February 19th, presidential message on the 75th anniversary of the Battle of Iwo Jima. In the long record of American heroism in combat, few episodes capture the indomitable will and the stout-hearted spirit of the American warrior better than the triumphs on the island of Iwo Jima in early 1945. 75 years later, we pay tribute to the immeasurable sacrifice of those killed in action on Iwo Jima, and we honor the heroic efforts of all who took part in one of the most costly and significant battles in our country's history. So you can go read this a little bit more. Obviously, Iwo Jima, the fighting on Iwo Jima was some of the bloodiest and most costly in all of the World War II, but it also gave rise to some of the greatest examples of patriotism and heroism in our nation's history, inspiring Admiral Chester Nimitz's famous statement that uncommon valor was a common virtue. Few images evoke as much emotion from the American soul as Joe Rosenthal's photo of 6 Marines raising our flag atop Mount Suribachi in the opening days of the battle. In addition, 27 medals of honor, the highest honor given to members of the military, were awarded for actions of conspicuous gallantry during the battle. Of these, 22 medals went to Marines. 22 medals went to the Marines, making up more than 25% of the total medals of honor awarded to Marines throughout the entirety of the war. It's amazing. I mean, I love our veterans. I work with everyone on the GoldFish Report, all my, co-hosts, not all of them, most of them, of the co-hosts on the GoldFish Report have been retired Marines. A lot of our friends have been military. They've been other forms of Marines. They've been veterans of Air Force, Special Ops. We've had Army friends on the GoldFish Report. And, we definitely support not the military industrial complex, but we support the positive military behind President Trump. So I always like to pay homage to our veterans because they deserve our respect and they deserve our gratitude. So I'm going to stop just to say hello to everybody in the chat. Hello. I try to learn today. Many times people won't accept the reality. Post-traumatic stress so bad. Yeah, post-traumatic stress, exactly. It's tough for a lot of people with the who are victims of violent crimes, exactly, especially even for Charlene Cole. Hello. Late had a rough day. Oh, I'm sorry you had a rough day. It's Friday though. I'm glad you've joined us, Charlene. Thanks for joining us. Or me, us. I mean, everybody in the live chat because everybody's there as well. So I do appreciate you joining us. Yeah, 192 in position in courts now, Marisande. Thank you very much for that update. Yeah, let me keep moving on, and we'll get to Thursday's report. I don't know, is it possible we could do this in like under an hour? Hopefully. We only have yesterday and today now to finish. Let's see if we can do it. So, remarks by President Trump at commencement address at Hope for Prisoners graduation ceremony. The president has been supporting, he's been doing, well, let's see. Let me just go to his quotes here. Hold on. Okay, so people are asking the president about pardons, and this week there were pardons. That was also another big deal. Blagojevich was pardoned. There was a number of other people pardoned, and I think these are all people. You have to look at this strategically. I think these are all people who were well aware of the deep state, were well aware of how they operated and who their networks were, and there's no question that I think that they're going to be working with President Trump and draining the swamp and making America great again and keeping America great. So I think that's why, because I have hand delivered a pardon letter to the White House for Winston Shrout. I do believe that the president should pardon Winston Shrout, and I think we should start a campaign called Free Winston. But of course, as you know, Winston's material was somewhat controversial for the deep state because it really showed how to free yourself from their bondage. So he was punished for that, and for other things he did. He put a commercial lien against the Federal Reserve for monies that were not paid for the gold that they leased to for their central banking system. And he did this with the authority, had an appointment of office within the Office of International Treasury Control. And of course, the gangsters didn't respect that and didn't honor any of that as well. And, went and attacked Winston through federal, trumped up charges. And, if this was really just a guy who didn't pay taxes, then why was the court record sealed? So you answer that question and try to do it intelligently and honestly, and you can't, because there was a lot more going on and there was a lot of chicanery going on. That's why it was sealed. So I think we should free Winston. Everybody should, write letters and say free Winston, pardon Winston Shrout. He's an older person. He doesn't need to be, he was doing what he can to help humanity. I don't think that the man wasn't being criminal in any way, shape, or form. And he's a real patriot and a real American. And I think I think the president should pardon Winston. So I'm just putting that out there. So let's move along. So there were pardons this week, and they're talking. I think he's talking about this as well. So you can go here, take a look. It's a long transcript. I don't read the transcripts. I mean, I might take a blurb out from here or there, but because we're already going as long as we have, look how long this transcript is. So I'm not going to read it, but you can come to the goldfishreport.blogspot.com and you can come and check this out. Take a look at the whole thing if you'd like. But, prisoners and has pioneered. Hope for Prisoners has pioneered a mentorship program with law enforcement, which has given strength and support to former inmates like these individuals that they were featuring here. They're trying to give them equipment that they need and military equipment and lots of things in order to help prisoners reintegrate into the workforce. So look, is there a stone that this president has left unturned? If there is, tell me what it is, but I don't think there is. He's trying to help every facet of life. We just need to get this legal system, this court system. We need to make it honest again. We need to have people have faith in the judiciary again, because I think the people have lost faith, truly. When you see the kind of chicanery, you see what they have put the president through himself, just imagine what they're doing to us. We have very little voice compared to the president. At least the president's able to get it out there and talk about it on social media, and millions of people can watch and listen. And that's really the role he's playing, is to wake everybody up to this. But for people like me and you, unless we talk about it, it's there's little hope for the world to know about it, or for America to know about it and do something about it. Very little hope, right? So anyway, let's move along. So the White House says the Trump bump is real. And this was, very, very, very positive. America's slow recovery from the Great Recession gave left-wing experts a fresh talking point: secular stagnation. They excused low growth under former President Obama as a new normal. Lost factory jobs and low wages were merely a sign of the times. Sure, well, with NAFTA, you're sending all our jobs overseas. Of course it's going to stagnate. They were wrong. The first 3 years of the Trump economy proved that low growth is far from inevitable. Common sense policies such as tax cuts, regulatory reform, and energy independence have coincided with a remarkable turnaround. As of the end of 2019, real GDP is 1.4%, or $260 billion, higher than economists projected. President Trump's results are not only beat expert predictions, they also beat the Obama expansion by the metrics. There have been turnarounds or improvements in home ownership, prime age labor force participation, and manufacturing employment, labor productivity, and crucially, net wealth for the bottom half of American households. And you know what? That's really what matters, folks. Are you financially better off? Because you know that leads to a better quality of life, right? That we have the money for our health care. We have the money to fix our cars when they break down. We have the money to make the repairs in our homes, which are bottomless pits and are always, always in need of something. Always something breaking down, right? Always something needing repair. It's a money pit. So when we can't provide for our basic needs, then our communities start to diminish, and our quality of life does as well. So the president has provided jobs. It's up to us to get out there and take these jobs, and that's how we're going to make America great again, by increasing our standard of living. And this is exactly what the president's been doing here. Let's keep moving. The American dream is for everyone. It's not just for some, it's for everyone. A few hours ago, President Trump gave a commencement address to graduates of the Hope for Prisoners program in Las Vegas, Nevada, which we were just talking about. Hope for Prisoners helps former inmates get back on their feet and re-enter society as they have served their time. Your best days are just beginning. So there's a video there, which since we're running late now, I don't want to play it, but we are here to reaffirm that America is a nation that believes in redemption. The president said, "We believe in second chances. There's no better champion for criminal justice reform than President Trump," and that's very true. He did this very early on in his presidency. Only 3 years in, and he's done all of this already. It's not even a second term. It's amazing. At the end of 2018, he signed the historic First Step Act, See what I said? The end of 2018. First Step Act, which reformed outdated sentencing guidelines, expanded judges' discretion in punishing nonviolent offenders, and invested over $400 million in programs to rehabilitate prisoners before they re-enter society. Now we begin a nationwide campaign to encourage businesses to expand second chance hiring. When we say hire American, we mean all Americans. You got to love this president. You just have to love him. Video of the day. Let's listen to what the president has to say here on this one. I guess it's on Twitter.
Brilliant. What they do is incredible. If you look at the technology and the kind of things that have taken place over the last 10 years on farms, not only the operating of tractors, which are like operating airplanes nowadays, they're so complex, but the kind of planting you do and what's happened with respect to farming. It's one of the industries, I think, that not only has become very complex, but has grown in so many ways. So I just want to thank our farmers. I want to thank you for the support. You're brilliant in every way. Few people could do what you do. Our farmers are brilliant. What they do is incredible. If you look at the technology and the kind of things that have taken place over the last 10 years on farms, not only the operating of tractors, which are like operating airplanes nowadays, they're so complex, but the kind of planting you do and what's happened with respect to farming. It's one of the industries, I think, that not only has become very complex, but has grown in so many ways. So I just want to thank our farmers. I want to thank you for the support. You're brilliant in every way. Few people could do what you do. Our farmers are brilliant. What they do, farmers are brilliant.
Except what Mike Bloomberg had to say, right? Remember what Mike Bloomberg said? That they don't need as, they don't have the gray matter to do the technical analysis and take tech jobs because they're farmers and all you have to do is dig a hole, plant a seed, and water it. Good night, Veronica. Yes, it's very late there. I know it is. Thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate you being here, dear. Thank you so much. Yeah, exactly. Opioids alone is huge. The president's doing amazing. Yeah, Mike Bloomberg. Boy, the memes are going crazy on Twitter about Mike Bloomberg. And I did screen share one in our POTUS report, which is pretty funny. It's actually the president is brilliant, as Jim Fetzer said. The president is brilliant when it comes to public relations. He really is. And I don't know what, Mike Bloomberg thinks he's going to do, but, when he has to go around telling everybody that you can't have a Slurpee, which is like a Diet Coke or something. You can't have a Slurpee, the size that you want. It's like we're really getting into fascism. His business is it to tell you what size drink to drink. You might be really thirsty that day. That's so ridiculous. Yes, Charlene, Winston's story is definitely very, very sad. Yes, exactly. Marisande, exactly. So let me just finish up with our last, actually, I'm going to finish up with our report. Hold on, I'm going to screen share this. Let's finish up yesterday and today, and hopefully we'll close this up. Okay, so here we're talking about major trade deals such as the NAFTA replacing USMCA and Phase 1 agreement with China are huge promises kept to America's farmers. Yesterday, President Trump delivered on another White House visiting Bakersfield, California. He signed a memorandum to clear regulatory hurdles that stifle water infrastructure projects. I just want to thank our farmers, the president said before heading out west this week. You're brilliant in every way. Few people could do what you do. That is such a contrast to what Mike Bloomberg had to say. You can find it on our Twitter page at Report GoldFish. Go to our Twitter page and you can find what Mike Bloomberg had to say about our farmers. Here is a look at President Trump disembarks Air Force One in Arizona. I mean, it's already, sunset there, and he's still going. He's still going. He's still going. Hardest working man, doesn't take a salary. We have to be so grateful to this man, really, for what he's doing and for the wonderful things he's doing. He loves our country, and he knows he's got the weight of the world on his shoulders, and don't kid yourself about that for a minute. Let's talk about this. President Trump has championed reforms that are providing hope to forgotten Americans. So this is kind of a little review. This is about achieving landmark justice reforms. Well, we didn't. Yeah. So let's talk about that. Donald Trump championed the First Step Act, delivering the largest reform of our justice system in years. We just talked about that. You can go to the blog, folks, and take a look at this in more detail if you'd like. Offering a second chance at the American dream. We just talked about that with the launch of the Federal Interagency Crime Prevention and Improving Reentry Council. This has to do with Pell Grants and things like that to help our First Step Act. So this is opportunity for all Americans, but of course for former inmates. So this is about restoring the dignity of work and being able to work, because once you've been arrested and you've been in prison, you have a record who's going to hire you, right? Even if you've filed bankruptcy because of no fault of your own, because you have a vicious, vindictive spouse that litigates you for 8 years and you file bankruptcy, right? They all check your credit score. I'll tell you, it's getting tough these days, but thank God, President Trump's working on, providing opportunities for all people. So that's good. Leaving no Americans behind for sure. Come and take a look at the blog. The unemployment rates for African Americans, Hispanic Americans, and Asian Americans have all reached record lows under President Trump. Wages are rising, with low-income workers seeing the fastest gains. Nearly 2.5 million Americans have been lifted out of poverty, with the poverty rates for African Americans and Hispanic Americans falling to new lows in 2018. President Trump has advanced workforce development to ensure everyone can seize on opportunities created in this booming economy. You can read more. Here we have his intent to nominate the following individuals to key administration posts, and we'll keep looking at that. Okay, Assistant Secretary for Housing, Federal Housing Commissioner Dana Wade of the District of Columbia. We also have Adam Bowler will be Executive Chairman of the Prosper Africa Initiative. Victoria Whitney will be the Chief CEO, or COO rather. I stand corrected. Chief Operating Officer for the initiative. So come and take a look at all of these. Here we have a letter from the President to the Speaker of the House of Representatives and the President of the Senate. Anytime there is a new executive order, the President has to, or a renewal of or changes to the national emergencies, the President has to send a letter to the President of the Speaker of the House. I'm sorry, not to the President, from the President to the Speaker of the House of Representatives. It's also published in the Federal Register, folks. If you want to look at it there as well, you can see it. This talks about National Emergencies Act and providing automatic termination of a national emergency unless within 90 days before the anniversary date of its declaration, the President publishes in the Federal Register and transmits to Congress a notice stating that the emergency is to continue in effect beyond the anniversary date. So in this regard, the President is obligated then to renew a declaration of emergency, Executive Order 13566, with respect to Libya, is to continue in effect. So this is just renewing that. So this has to do with declaring a state of emergency. And here is the actual notice to the public: continuation of the national emergency with respect to Libya. You can come here. There's been a lot of riots, there's been uprising, there's been deterioration in the security of Libya, and there's a lot of Libyans seeking refuge in other countries because of all of this. So there's a lot of things that are going on there. You can also take a look here at the on-the-record press call of the 2020 Economic Report of the President. Please come and take a look at this blog. We already highlighted a lot of the President's accomplishments in terms of tax cuts, trade negotiations, energy independence, deregulation, economic growth, things like that. These are the foundations to our economy. Keeping U.S. markets competitive, keeping trade relations fair and reciprocal, which is the President's goal, of course. So, and also trying to of course, the border is going to stop the drugs from coming in. It's going to stop the trafficking, things of that nature. That all, figures into our economy, because when we're guaranteeing in sanctuary cities healthcare for people who aren't even Americans, and me as an American, I can't even get healthcare without paying for it myself, like everybody else, right? Every other American. It's like, what's wrong with this picture? We pay into it and we can't get the health insurance. They pay nothing. They're even illegal and they get it. So we've got to stop this shenanigans. We've got to stop it. We've got to be good to the people who built this country first and foremost. And that's what the president's trying to do. So folks, take a look here. This is a very long transcript. I'm not going to read it all. I'm going to go through this very quickly. And then of course our final day, which is today, and I'm going to stop sharing just to say hello to everybody. Ricky, Ricardo. Okay. Hi, Slim Frank. How are you? Thanks for joining us tonight. We're almost done. I'm just going to continue to report on the last day, which is today. Any news from the president for today? It's already been an hour, and it's the president's. He does so much every week that it makes it hard to keep these reports, under an hour. So, unless I do it daily. I might have to do it like bi-weekly because otherwise, we get 1,000 views. I mean, what is with that? What's with that, people? Because we need to share this far and wide. I'm being censored so much. Once I monetize the channel, because I had to, once I monetize the channel, then it's like they what do you call it? They they throttle the post, so it's not being circulated. It doesn't come up in searches. It doesn't come up in, it's not like a suggested, reports or anything like that, like it used to be. So we're up against massive censorship. Let me just finish this. So president announces key individuals, the intent to appoint individuals to a key administrative post. We have Roger Cartsons of Virginia to be special presidential envoy for hostage affairs. It's interesting. Background press call with regard to the president's trip to India. He will be visiting India very soon. And and I've reported on this already, I think last week, regarding his plans for trade and security with Prime Minister Modi over there. And they have lots of mutual issues that they can agree on. And I think they do want President Trump to be involved in some negotiations with Kashmir, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not quite sure. I think the president's going to do what he can. Here we have the delegation that will be going to India, and you have the list of them right here. I'm not going to go through everyone, but of course we're going to have Ivanka Trump, Jared Kushner, and Dan Scavino, of course, always going there, as well as the press secretary, and Linda Reynolds, chief of staff to the First Lady. Stephanie Grisham, obviously, is also going because she is the director of communications and the press secretary for the president, and director of communications for the First Lady. There's other people who are going, other people who will be impacting the meetings and the topics regarding bilateral meetings, and these are the participants of those bilateral meetings. And there's a schedule here. You can go through the schedule if you want to take a look at that. I'm going to go through it very quickly. It's a very long transcript, as I mentioned. We also have, again, a little bit of a review. We have the president delivers commencement address at Hope for Prisoners graduation, which I already talked about, but you can go to the blog and check this out. This is really for people who really want to know what the president's doing. What is our president doing? I mean, 161 weeks we've been telling you every week what the president's been doing. And you have to really want to know what the president's doing to watch a POTUS report. You have to be really a patriot to watch POTUS reports, okay? Trump takes a stand for the mentally ill, which he has done. He has talked about that. And, America's long broken mental health system is turning business districts into homeless camps. And I read this earlier. So come take a look at the blog, and you can get more information about that. President Trump's approval rating among small business owners hits all-time high. 64% of small business owners approve of the way Donald Trump is handling his job as president. That's huge, folks. Huge, right? NASA astronauts will return to space from U.S. soil before summer. Interesting, Pence. So this is before we even get to the summer. With the strong support of all of you, the United States will return American astronauts to space on American rockets from American soil. Interesting. We'll see. We'll see. We're going back. So, Vice President Pence, is involved in um, keeping up with this Space Force and overseeing that. So um, he attends those conferences and things that's going on with the United States Space Force. Interesting. Can't wait for all that stuff to come out a little bit more into the public and see how they're going to, whether it's going to be done as the Space Force or it's going to be done as NASA. And we're all going to watch this new launch on TV, right? We're going to watch it on social media, this new launch of the Space Force. Let's see what kind of space ship or rocket or whatever that we're going to be launching. Let's see what it's going to be officially. It should be very interesting. I'm sure it will be very exciting. Donald Trump's fiscally conservative budget. You can come read about it. We just talked about it a little bit. Here we also have presidential delegation to Montevideo, Uruguay, to attend the inauguration of Dr. Louis Lacalle Poe, president-elect of the Oriental Republic of Uruguay. Very nice. So here we have a delegation who's going there, and they're listed here for that event. And of course, we have the memorandum of the delegation of certain functions and authorities under the National Defense Authorization Act for fiscal year 2020. You can take a look at this. It's more information about the National Defense Authorization Act. Has certain sections that are being addressed here, so you can go through it in detail. Treasury functions, national intelligence functions. You can go take a look at all of that. So that's it, folks. That's it for the week for the president. We know that he's been working really hard doing these rallies. He was just in Colorado Springs last night, and people were freezing there. He was in Phoenix today. So, he's been very, very busy. I'm just going to check in with my live chat. Thank you, Marisande. Thank you for that live chat. Oh, I really appreciate it. Thanks. Yeah, I don't really have any moderators in here, but I do appreciate it. Slim. Yes, that's right, because U.S. Deep State considered U.S. natural born as enemies of the foreign state of D.C. Exactly. Enemy combatants. Yes, I'm being censored big time. Active 1871. You're absolutely right, Slim Frank. You're absolutely right. Anyone watching and finding this info good, please give a thumbs up. Thank you so much, guys. Yeah, give us a thumbs up. Spread this far and wide. GoldFish Report is being censored big time. We've been here 4.5 years doing this, folks. We're on report number 445, bringing news to you. So we really do hope that you enjoy our interviews and also our news reports as well. I do appreciate your super chats. Thank you so much. And I'm going to close this up. We're a little bit over an hour. I think what I'm going to have to do is, because the president just works so hard, he does so much work, that I might have to do this bi-weekly, because I did want to try to make this short, but it's really not completely possible to do that because the president does so much. You have to talk about it. There's a lot to talk about. Yes, EW, human rights and trafficking EO as well, of course. Thank you so much, Jay Berwick. I appreciate your comments. And to all the people, Lisa got you. Oh, thanks. Listen to Slim Frank. You guys are great. I appreciate all of you. I appreciate all of our viewers. I appreciate all of our subscribers. If you're not a subscriber, please hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. And please let me know if you actually get any of the notifications. Do you know they censor us because we're talking the truth. We're the anti-deep state narrative, and I'm not making any bones about it. I don't want the deep state in our country. I don't want the deep state anywhere. Anybody who wants to, use us as sheep and cattle and, harvest us in any way, shape, or form, our money, our energy, our time, not for your agenda. So I'm for the American people and all the people, our brothers and sisters across the world, especially in China, where they really need some help. They need some help and they need some compassion. Hey, Jay Berwick, long if good. Yeah, Sherry Ives. Hi, Sherry. Good to see you. I'm so glad you stopped by. My sister. My soul sister. Right, Marisande. She's my soul sister, too. I don't always get to notifications right away, no. Yeah, it's tough. Thank you, Slim. I appreciate your support. I appreciate it so much. Give us a thumbs up if you like the report tonight, folks. If you like to hear about the president, we're just you gotta. If you're a patriot, only a patriot wants to know what the president's doing, like in this kind of detail. And we're gonna show it. We're gonna show it, and we're gonna talk about it. What I didn't have time to do was talk about Q tonight, and I really wish that I did. But the Q is saying, "Prepare for the storm, Anons." So I have a feeling, and maybe I'll just screen share this really quick. Okay, I know that we're at the end of our report, but here is the Q page, right? So prepare for the storm, Anons is what the one of the latest posts says. They fear an awake public. Each Q proof proves our strength to thank you, Q and Q plus. You have come far, Anons. You are ready. Yeah, we are ready. Prepare for the storm. I think we're going to see a lot in March Madness. I think we're going to it's time. I mean, there's got to be some things that move along before the election, and then some things that will move along after the election. So we'll wait and see what that's going to be. But I just want to thank you all so much for coming by and for White Squall incoming. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, did you guys see that preview? Yeah. Thank you so much, you guys. I really appreciate you being here and being supporting GoldFish Report. I want to thank so much to our Patreons who, go to our Patreon page, and we're going to have some upcoming specials just for our Patreons. Of course, we don't get to do them very often because we're we're trying to work on this new live stream platform, but we do upload everything there for our Patreon. So I do hope you enjoy that, and we will continue to have special interviews that you get exclusive access to for being a Patreon. We couldn't do it without your support, and we are really struggling to keep it going because of the censorship and the demonetization and all of this. And with the amount of time and effort that goes into reporting and stuff, it's not just like an anon, doing it at night. It's like I was doing this in graduate school, and I was going to the White House reporting. I was making a career out of this, and it's very easy for them to shut that down and to cause a lot of chaos, and that's their job. Dr. Arden, thank you so much for coming by. I appreciate you coming by. My itching, yeah, everybody notices my face is still itching. There's nothing I could do about it, really. I mean, I'm healing. I have to tell you, one of the things that helps me the most is drinking turmeric, putting turmeric in tea with like pepper. Yeah, a lot of turmeric and a lot of pepper because that helps the body absorb it better. Put a little ginger, cinnamon, lemon, and honey in there. And if I don't drink that for a few days, it's just like the inflammation just keeps going. And I notice that it cuts down inflammation like in other areas of my body, and it increases my immune system. It's so good. And Goldfish Report's going to have some other things about our immune system coming up soon too. So you're going to want to look out for that. Thank you. Thank you, Slim Frank. Yeah, exactly. It's too risky. Exactly. It's like if you saw that video that Q post that it was on a Q board of this one patriot who, put this compilation together of um, like Q things, and of course, some of the YouTubers out there. Yeah, I was disappointed I didn't see Goldfish Report out there because these were people who came on the scene later. After Q, was well known and they started. I mean, people like Jordan Sather. It's like, come on, really? Like I have nothing personal against him, but I mean, we were reporting on Q the day it happened, the day, that Las Vegas shooting happened. We've been reporting the truth, and we've been, getting death threats, and we've been getting our blogs deleted. We've been doing all of this before Sather started reporting this stuff. So, good for him. He's got a following, but I think that there's been a lot of people. Oh, that's so nice of you, Dr. Arden. Thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, I've been trying to heal it. It's been kind of difficult, but if you really saw it before, oh my God, it was like I never thought it would heal. It was really kind of crazy. But thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'll look into that. Thanks, Slim Frank. I appreciate it. Yeah, Audrey. All right, for those who want news on Audrey and updates, it's he's having a tough time healing. He needs some good medical help, and then he can do the healing. Oh, that's so sweet of you. I don't have a way to contact you, but if you email me, I'll at least have your email. Can you can you email me, Dr. Arden? That would be great. That would be wonderful. That's at the Goldfish Report. Here, I'll put it here. Anybody who has information uh, that might be helpful, please feel free to email me at thegoldfishreport@gmail.com. Thank you so much. So date night's over, folks. It's over. This is such a long POTUS report. I don't like to make them this long, but not everybody has much time. But like I said, the president's doing so much that I think I'm going to have to do these biweekly because there is a lot to report. And I like to pay. I don't even get to report on everything I want to report on either. It's like, and I have a full family, trust me. It's like I have a lot of family obligations, I should say it that way. That yeah, that take my time, trust me. So here it's the goldfish report at gmail.com. Dr. Arden, did you get that email? Thank you so much. Yes, please email me. I would love to correspond with you. Marisande, I know Audrey. He's having a tough time. He needs the right kind of medical attention, and then he can do the healing, the rest of it himself. It's just that he's having um, some real technical issues that I don't know. I think he had a bad experience. So it's like when you have surgery and you have a bad outcome. Um, then you have to correct that, right? I just have a picture here. I don't want to gross you all out or anything, but the problem is sometimes when you go to fix a problem, you have other problems. And so it's a complicated problem. It's kind of, I don't really need to share this video, but I won't share the picture now. But I mean, it's sometimes when you go to correct a previous problem or a previous failed uh, medical situation, you run into complications that you wouldn't have if it was if this doctor was the one treating him to begin with. So he definitely had some issues, and my prayers are with him. Please do what you can to help him out too with his channel, with his he will be back on Goldfish Report just as soon as we can. Uh, just as soon as we can, he gets into a better place. But he's still running. I mean, we will be tomorrow night on Ascension Radio. So you can go to Ascension Radio. Here's the address. No, it's .org. Sorry. So it's radio mpaq.org. That is where you can find where you hold on a second. Where you can find Ascension Radio. And if you guys share this far and wide, I would really appreciate it. Get this circulating. This would really be helpful. Yeah, this Slim Frank, absolutely. The storm is about to reach maximum capacity. Q's giving us a heads up. Exactly, Slim. Exactly. I heard March was going to be March Madness. That's what I heard from my sources. So thank you. Okay, great. Thanks, Dr. Arden. I appreciate that. Yeah, March, buckle up, get prepared. I think we want to see some accountability. We want to see some charges of treason because we know what's been going on, don't we, folks? So thank you so much to everybody who's joined us. I'm going to have to end the live stream because I've got to get this video processed and uploaded. Let's just next be ready for the big show. Yeah, get your popcorn ready. Actually, everybody should get some extra food in case there might be, some minor interruptions and things. But always good to have some on hand. I'll tell you, I'll tell you a funny story really quick. I had like my whole basement with I had like sections of my basement that had like all this prepper food and stuff, but I didn't seal it all properly, and it became like an all-you-can-eat buffet for like a couple of mice that got in. And I'm telling you, it was like an all-you-can-eat buffet. A 20-pound bag of rice, completely empty. I mean, I never saw anything like it in my life. And I got rid of the mouse, but somehow he got in the basement door. Somehow, I don't know how they get in, but I just can't believe it. Like, boxes of cereal, things like that. They got in all of it. They got in everything, everything. It was unbelievable. Rice, you know, uh, packaged soups, things like that. Everything was empty. Everything was empty. They ate it all. It was like ratatouille. It's like they were just in there eating it all. So if you get prepper food, definitely store it properly. I didn't have it stored as good as I thought I did. Actually, that's the way I should say it. So, yes, and lots of water. Definitely stock up on water. Always have a lot of water on hand. So, yeah, funny story. I should have had like neon lights outside my basement door for like with like a little mouse hole, all you can eat buffet. It was all gone. They ate it all. It was really I was, afterwards I realized, I didn't have it in good containers. Yeah, 5-gallon buckets with gamma. That would have worked. That's actually a good idea. That's actually a really good idea, especially rice. They love rice. Oh my God, do they love rice? Who thought? Who knew? I never had any experience with that before. I didn't know. 5-gallon buckets with gamma lids. That's a really great idea. Just say a prayer for Audrey if you can help him throw a few bucks his way. There's a donate button on PayPal. He's having a tough time. He's been dealing with this for 2 months now, so he's not been able to do the kind of promoting. We did our launch. Um, Fat rat, 20 pounds of rice. Exactly. Can you imagine what they must have looked like? I don't know even how they got out. Of course, they were probably one size when they got in, Slim. They had to be big and fat roly-polies when they left. 20-pound bag of rice. I had several bags of rice. I couldn't believe it. It was just empty. I mean, there weren't even crumbs in there. It was just ridiculous. It's pretty funny. Yeah, it was like I said, it must have been like a neon light at my, basement door, and the neighborhood rats, or not rats, but like a neighborhood mouse, just like getting his buddies to come and eat all that stored food. I won't do that again. Okay, everybody, you have a great weekend. Thanks so much for joining me. I appreciate all your comments. Yeah, Slim, it was funny, really. A 20-pound rat. Can you imagine? A 20-pound mouse? I mean, he had to have a couple buddies come in and help him with that. So just say some prayers for Audrey, everybody. I would appreciate that. And we will be on Ascension Radio. I mean, Audrey is still working the radio station from his hospital bed. And I did go recently, and I may be doing a report soon just for Audrey. I did go visit him recently, and he's lost a lot of weight, and I'm very concerned about him. He really does need to. He needs our prayers a lot. And for those of our friends who know him and know how to visit him, please do. Please visit him. And you know who I'm talking to if you're watching. Okay, everybody, have a really great night. Thank you so much for your support and for viewing. And I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing a live stream tomorrow or not on Ascension Radio, but we'll find out. We'll find out. And I hope you all have a great evening and enjoy your weekend. No matter how cold it might be or wherever you might be, have a great weekend. And this concludes this edition of the GoldFish Report. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a great weekend. Go. It's going to take me just a minute to end this. Hold on. Okay. Have a great weekend.